I'm allowing Tina to introduce you. So yes, Tina.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to all present here. We are delighted to have to join us today at Amity University, Haryana, a proud institution of the prestigious Amity Education Group. Amity University, Haryana is among with the top university in India and the only institution in the country and the second in Asia to receive the LEED Platinum certification. With a strong focus on multidisciplinary learning and global standard of education, the university offers UGC recognized undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctoral programs across these academic fields. And today continues this proud tradition of learning and excellence. We welcome you all of the 2-hour workshop on hands-on experience on CMIE and Powers Data Insights by Mr. Sudarshan Negi. Through this workshop, participants will gain practical exposure of navigate CMIE database, especially Powers, and will learn how to exact interpret and analyze firm level and microeconomic data. This insightful workshop is organized by Amity Business School in associate with the Center of Finance Analytics, Amity University, Haryana. We are truly honored to have with us a very special guest and speaker, Mr. Sudarshan Negi, Senior Manager at CMIE, a senior manager at the Center of Monitoring Indian Economy specialized in empowering educational and research institutes with in-depth knowledge of CMIE economic and business database with a rich cross-section experience spanning corporate banking and finance services. We have collaborated extensively and premium academic institutions include the IIMs, IITs, NITs, and various research bodies for guiding faculty for researchers through hands-on training, demonstration, and addressing the queries on CMIE database. Sir, we are privileged to have you with us today, and we are eagerly looking forward to your insight and guidance. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tina, and welcome all the participants who have joined this session for Prowess and the CMI databases. And I hope we can start with the training and the hands-on session which we are about to have.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. And let me share my screen. Okay. Now, basically, before going through both CMI databases, which your esteemed institution is having access to, let me first give you a brief why this database is relevant for you and how you can access it. So I believe most of you are new to CMI databases and have never heard this database in the past, or you have a slight understanding to what CMI does. So our organization, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, it works very closely with the educational institution, okay? And we provide database access to you. And this database helps you in understanding how the different sectors are performing in India, how the corporate sector has been progressing, what is the market conditions, how the companies are, effectively utilizing their resources, what kind of projects the companies are having, how these companies are competing with its competitors, okay? Such kind of more in details you get in the Prowess database. But again, at the same time, you are the management students, you are the business students, so you should have an understanding to economy information as well, that what kind of, progress which is happening in the economy and surrounding. So our economic outlook database and Prowess database, these are the modules which you can access, okay? Economic outlook and Prowess, not the Prowess DX. So you have access to Prowess and economic outlook. Now, I'll share the link of both the services in the chat box. As you know, the batch is on, is more focused toward the, I would say, total quality management relating to the operational efficiency of the companies and production inside. I'll focus more on that particular part, but I'll focus more on that part. But I'll spend 10 minutes in our economic outlook database, which you do have access to, and how you can register yourself and get access to it with seamless, through these web browser access. Now, economic outlook, if I type cmi.com, this is the official website of CMI. I'll mention all the details in the chat box. Okay, so this is the CMI website. I've shared the details. Now the first service under it is product, and we have this economic outlook. If I open this economic outlook web portal, we have visit economic outlook option on the left side, and either you can type economicoutlook.cmi.com. So this link I'm mentioning again in the chat box. This is the second link which I'm sharing, but it's the first service which you have access to, economicoutlook.cmi.com. Now, any user who is there in the campus, so any student, faculty members, scholars, any user who is a part of MIT Gurgaon, they can first need to connect their system or a smartphone or laptop or PC with the IP of your MIT Gurgaon. That means that the Wi-Fi access which you are having of your MIT University, you need to first make it sure your system is connected with that Wi-Fi. Once it is connected, it will not give you the request for subscription and login option. It will show you IP based. If you are there and you have opened your system, you can just check it now. Anyone can just try and first connect their system with the Wi-Fi of the institution, and then visit this economicoutlook.cmi.com. You may find that it's an IP based access, and your system may show you IP based access over here. Is there anyone who can try this and tell me, is it working with your system if you are there in the campus and trying it?
Yes, sir, it's working.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's showing you IP based rather than the request for subscription, right? Okay, Vidushi have mentioned it in the chat box even. Now, so economic outlook can be accessed without even a login, and you can access any information from there. But if you want to personalize your access, okay, so if you want to personalize your access, you can create your own ID and the password. And so any student, they can click on this login option or IP based, which is on your screen, and it may show you this particular pop-up of login when you click on login, and then you can register yourself by this link, or I'll be sharing personally this link in the chat box. So this is registration link. Okay, so anytime later or now, you can register yourself with the Ameti email ID, okay, that domain email ID, confirm it, write a username which should be unique. Okay, so if there is any Ajay, Anita, you can type Anita underscore, like say I say Ajay underscore Ameti, okay, and you can type Gurgaon, okay, or Manesar. So I said Gurgaon. Confirm my email ID, Mr. Mrs. Dr. Professor, first name, last name, and a word verification over here, and submit it. Once you submit it, you will receive your personal login credential, and through that, you can further customize the service. Any economic outlook, Prowess, both the service are accessible by the same login ID and the password. But even if you want to access without a login, so economic outlook you can access without even a login, but Prowess, always a user need to have a login ID and the password. Is it fine? Is it audible? Is there any query relating to the registration and the IP based access related query?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, those who can have registered, perfect. Otherwise, we'll be making it sure that all your IDs are created, and we'll be sharing that after getting your email IDs through the head of your department. But by the time you can focus, and those who are there in Economic Outlook, if you are connected with the Wi-Fi of your institution, just explore it. I'm using my ID and the password. And similarly, you can explore the services, which has been very important section for it. I'm there with my ID. Now, what is this service all about? Prowess and Economic Outlook. Okay. So, Economic Outlook gives you an overview on how India is been performing. Okay. So, in terms of how India has been performing, we have all the sector performances. And all the sector performances, that means that whether you have heard about banking sector progress or GDP, inflation, government expenditure revenue, how the trade is happening in India, relating to the MPC, which is Monetary Policy Committee again, how the rate is there, and is there any change in the policy repo rate or not. You get those details, infrastructure related information, energy related, renewable energy related, agriculture related, investment in India, industry progress, corporate sector progress, capital market progress, consumer sentiment, employment and wages. These are the kind of chapters under analysis. So what kind of analysis we have been posting? So if I click on, let's say, consumer sentiment, it shows me that there are many articles which is mentioning the rural India sentiment and urban India. Okay, so rural India sentiment, it says no farm rural, pessimism weight sentiment. It says tampered gain in consumer sentiment. There is a festive spark lift buying sentiment. This was relating to when there was actually Diwali and the festival season was there, and during that period, if you click on that article, it shows that how the urban sentiment was falling and rural sentiment were rising during the festive season. And it gives you the complete summary why this we are saying that the urban sentiment is falling and rural sentiment has been rising. You get all that update. Okay, so it says October, it says that the month saw a big India festive, the Dussehra and Diwali being celebrated, and these are the trends saw the buying sentiments. Okay, it further says that October data shows that GST cut did not meaningfully influence buying sentiment in households, and the buying sentiment of the household in both urban and rural lacks the incremental push, a major tax change coming into force. At that time, there was a change in the GST rate cut in the many commodity in that category. And if you read this article, it briefly explains you about how the sentiment is going throughout that particular period. Okay. Now, at the same time, it gives you the data, how we are writing that. It gives you the data. It's a data backed analysis along with the reference link. So if you click on these reference link, it takes you the complete data tabulation where all that data is. So rural, urban, and all India. If I check another article, link, it gives me slightly, again, percentage from rural, and the urban, where the who are feeling better, who are feeling same, worse, or not better category. Now, I am interested, let's say, in corporate sector. I could make more sense from the corporate sector data. I can click on corporate sector as a chapter, and I will get only those articles where corporate sector has been mentioned. So this is the article relating to the financial market performance. GST cut makes a difference, whether it has made a difference in the corporate sector performance or not. Okay. It says India Inc. investments, where the Indian, again, corporate sector investment, it is discussing about that. Capital good companies do well. Again, the investment picks in Hastings. Sluggish growth in sales continue. Consumer durable company cheers, and fundraising recoup in September. This article more mentioned about how the corporate sector, those companies, are more dependent on raising their fund from, whether from the banks, whether from their the profit which they are saving, whether from the the foreign institutional investors which they are more relying on. So this article completely speaks about that. So as a business, as a management student, you should have a holistic view. You should have a understanding to all kind of progress which is happening around you. And if there could be a, there a different economic activity, like we have seen COVID, we have seen demonetization, there has been a lot of news, tariff news. Okay, if you are in touch with those articles and you have read certain articles, it will boost your confidence in the interviews, and you can do a lot more project using it, relating to the, from the economic outlook itself. So if I pick certain articles like on trade, so it will mention that, different countries, how the trade has been happening, and all the articles relating to the US tariff impose, and later on, how the scenario has been happening. So it gives you the trend like this, where this is USA, UAE, Indian exporters. It says that Indian exporters diversify market. It shows that how US export has declined, other countries export has increased. Okay, and whether it has any impact on the Indian industries, especially with the drug and pharma, where the tariff has been 100% charged, and where with the textile industry and so far. So such articles would be relevant, and you will have up to date knowledge, when you are appearing in the interviews and GDs and competitions. So that is more or less, what kind of articles we are writing from the data. If you want a regular news articles, let's say relating to these topics, so you can buy your login ID. If you are there logged in into the website, you can go to favorite, and there is a data alerts and analysis. So if I go to analysis, I can have, let's say I want trade news, I want trade articles of CMI, I want money and banking information, I want corporate sector, I'll say corporate sector. So it will automatically send these regular news and CMI analysis on your email if you have logged in with your personal login credential. This is how you can customize it. Second one could be that if you see this article and you are exploring the data and you want a regular update on the trade data relating to it, so if you click on this reference link, the data tabulation which has opened on your screen and which is about to open, okay, this article and this data tabulation shows you the source, which is say Ministry of Commerce and Industry. The document is also available, and you can also right click and draw any line chart the way it was presented in the graph. Okay, like UAE, I could say UAE line chart. I can draw further more chart relating to UK. There could be Saudi Arabia. So these are the kind of comparison which you can draw, the country and country, and this image can be downloaded by view as image option. So if you click on view as image, the image get downloaded for your comparison. And if you minimize it again, you can right click on, let's say, Singapore, and there is a line chart, and the Singapore graph has been drawn. Okay, this is how you can draw a graph. You can download the data by this particular download as Excel option. And even if you want that without opening Economic Outlook website, you should get a mail alert that when the new data get released, because it's a monthly data. You may get the data of January soon. If you mark a mail alert, and you will get a mail alert whenever the monthly data get released for the export and export of these from different countries. Okay, and I can also mark this as a favorite, so that the favorite thing, which is a trade, I find it interesting, I can go to favorite and data alert, and I may see that particular tabulation total export by country, which has been saved at particular location. So if I click it again, anytime it will open that data tabulation, which we have seen earlier. So this is how you can customize the platform, Economic Outlook. Now, what could be a relevant other information for you? I'll, is, so start exploring these articles. Okay, so we post monthly 3 important articles which are relevant for you. One is financial market performance, macroeconomy, and the sectoral performance. So very full-fledged articles written and gives you the key insight about the monthly progress. And rest other, if you are interested in any of these specific topic, you can click on money and banking if and see and explore that. If you're interested more in industry or investment or infrastructure, again progress, so you can select a particular chapter and get only that kind of information. Like clicking on industry could give me only those articles which are relating to industry. Now, how you can access all the data, let's say, relating to the sentiment or relating to the industry progress. So we have this statistics, okay? And under statistics, you can either dig down, let's say, I want to see uh, automobile industry sales, okay? So if I click on industry, okay, so there is index of industrial production, there is 8 code, and I'm sure that most of the student, even when you are a beginner, you may not know certainly what is the index of industrial production and 8 code. If you have knowledge, certain knowledge about that, it's really great. But let's say what kind of industry information it is there, IIP, 8 code, and other information. There's a performance of select industry. If I click on that, I have all the industries production and sales numbers. So it says sugar, tea, fertilizer sales, iron, steel, again, commercial vehicle. There's a passenger vehicle sales, export. So I say sales of passenger vehicle. Okay. And I want to check this on a quarterly basis. So I'll open it quarterly and I want it annually. There are two data sets, so it gives me all the option. If there is a data monthly available, it gives you monthly. If it is quarterly, quarterly. Whether you want the actual value, whether you want year-on-year change, whether you want the percentage share in total, all these things are there so that do not need to do more work on again putting efforts on filtering out the data. It customizes the data and gives it in a proper fashion to you to consume it. So this is the data sheet, and if I say this is so passenger car category, luxury roadster, multi-utility vehicle, how the sales numbers are there for through these many years till 24, 25. Now, certainly, let's say you are joining a company and you have a interview, and the person asks that how you see your career in this particular industry or a sector. So these are the data which are of the past performances. Now you should also have a future in a site how you see this industry to grow in the upcoming years. So we have for that the projection which is called forecast. Okay, so we forecast GDP, we forecast inflation, we forecast money and banking. All these are the sectors. Now, even if you click on industry, it gives you like industry forecast and automobile sales projection. So if I click on, let's say, annual projection or quarterly, so I have both the projections. So you can obviously say that, let's say, year on year change, and I keep year on year change. So this is quarterly change and one is annual. So this is how the percentage change, and we say that this is the projection for next 5 or 6 quarters for the commercial vehicle, heavy commercial, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, passenger cars. Now, if you want to check it annually, this is annually how the sales will grow for the automobile sector, and especially with passenger vehicle, two-wheelers, and commercial vehicle, you can see how the changes been happening. So, and in the article itself, we are continuously, writing about how we see these industries to perform in the upcoming years. So, future projection articles are already there in the analysis, but if you want to explore the data, the projection section forecast is already there. So I'll take a pause, and before we, close the economic outlook, and we'll move more toward the Prowess database, which where the total quality management and the operational indicators, production related information, and a lot more in terms of company specific data is available. So before going into that, is there anyone who would like to ask anything or want a clarity on the economic outlook database or the query if they have any? Feel free to ask any. This is a interactive session. I want you to participate and I'm here to help you out with the access and how you can use it for the project. Because if you are using it for project, there are many companies, the Deloitte, KPMG, Big Four companies, consultancy firms, even the manufacturing companies, Maruti Suzuki even uses it. The CMI databases. If you have an understanding to these databases, I'm sure it may help you in the near future in that case. So no query. Okay. Now, so what a user can do further is, if you need any clarity on the data, if you don't know how to search any data point and you have a specific requirement, either you can use indicator search, article search. So it's a broad search. You can type a keyword and search any kind of information. The second part is, again, you can also use a release calendar. And in the release calendar, it tells you that what kind of data is getting released on the daily basis. Okay. So if I want to check it for March, and if I go and check for March 2026, I have these dates what data will get released, and then I can further do it more, and I get the specific time when on which date the data will get released. So if it's a electricity generation data, if I click on that, it gives me the complete year when the data will get added in the economic outlook. So it gives you a plan when you're working on certain data, so that you can submit your project in time if you have an understanding how this data is being released officially. And the release calendar helps you in planning your data download and so. Now, and if you want to interact with the support team, so we have this seek clarification under support, and where you can post about data availability and the economy. You are not sure where the data is, simply write it. I'm looking for this data. May I know whether it's available? And if it's available, please provide me the link. And just post this query by writing a message. And in case if you are consuming any information, you can ask about clarification on data present, clarification on article present. Okay. Now, those who are a beginner, and I know that most of you are students, you may not have understanding to all those terms. So for you, we have this knowledge base, and the knowledge base gives you a clarity on every chapter, what kind of information is being covered under these chapters. So if I click on corporate sector, it gives me that the principal source is CMI Prowess. If I click on industry, it gives me that Ministry of Commerce and Industry and Industrial Association say from where the data comes and what kind of data is being there. You get 8 code industry, what is it? Index of industrial production, Abacus survey, annual survey of industry. It gives you a brief highlight about what kind of data is there relating to this. Okay. So that is all from the economic outlook, which you can access by a simple web browser, economicoutlook.cmi.com, without even a login. Just need to connect with the Wi-Fi of your institution. Okay. Now, the second service is the Prowess. I'll move from economic outlook to Prowess. And before that, um, I believe you'll be receiving a certain project relating to the company level information as well. So do ask any kind of query if you have, and I may stop in the middle of the session and address your query, and even you can pose a query in the chat box which is there on this. So Prowess is a most largest database, most powerful and largest database on Indian companies. It gives you access of 1,13,000 companies which are there in India, working in India. And basically, every company registered with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and and that is where the data is being pulled from Ministry of Corporate Affairs and provided you the audited annual financial statement, and further more details from the NSE BSE exchanges. We cover listed companies from NSE BSE exchanges. We also provide SEBI data, Security and Board of Exchange, and we cover most of the unlisted companies, which is 107,000 companies. And these unlisted companies do not disclose the data which is not publicly available. So we have a tie-up with the MCA, and we get the data, and we make that data very user friendly and comparable to you to consume it. Okay. Now, how you're going to compare certain companies on operational indicators, on production related information, and the details relating to it. So I'll give you a clarity that first of all, you can explore the report view. Okay, we have this Prowess database which covers what kind of information, the financial information. I'm removing these tabs, and I have this Maruti Suzuki India Limited over here, the selected one. And let's say I want other companies, so I can either zoom in, and I'm maximizing the font size so you can have a better clarity on this. So let's say by default there's a Maruti Suzuki, and you can use the same login ID and the password by which you have registered and for the economic outlook access. Same ID will work over here. And first, this report viewer where I searched Maruti, I search Maruti, and I type SU and searched it. So I have this Maruti Suzuki India Limited. Okay, I'm selecting mostly the manufacturing companies so that we can have a better clarity on the operational indicators. So Maruti Suzuki. Second, I'm selecting across industries like ITC. Okay, and I search ITC and plus sign click, and the company get added in the selection area. Third, I'm selecting few other companies across the industries like Ambuja Cement. Okay, I say Ambuja Cement Limited and added it in the selection area. And there could be many other. I say HUL, Hindustan Unilever added. Okay. I say, again, cement has been covered. I have covered the automobile sector companies. I have covered the FMCG, ITC. Okay. There could be many other companies which you can select across the industries, but these four companies are good enough for you to understand. And let's say one service company, even if you would like me to add, I would say mm, it could be Wipro. Okay. And one more. This is the service financial service computer software industry company, Wipro. And one from the banking, I'm saying it's Access Bank, and search and select it. 4 or 5 company, whichever you feel, if you're working on one company's data, and you can select one company in that case. So I have added these companies in the selection area. Okay. Now, what kind of information you get for all these companies? So first, have a overall view on what exactly we are covering under Prowess. So we have per company, you get the basic information about the company, which we call as identity background, and even the identity background, the detail relating to the company classification, the company background, 250 word writing, and the one page profile, which give you an overview on how the company has been performing with the latest financials. The quarterly, again, the ownership, who are the owners, who are the directors, promoters, and how their directors remuneration has been there. Okay. And if you scroll it more on the left side, this is the security prices, how the companies are doing in stock market. Okay. And the rating and rational is very important. It tells you that what is the rating of company on different credit instrument, and that credit instrument is basically being rated by top rating agencies. Okay, and given by the top rating agencies. So can anyone tell me that any the rating agencies which are there in India? Hello. So which are the rating agencies are there in India? Can anyone tell few of the companies?
Sale is there.
Oh, yes, Crystal is there. Yes, correct. And anyone else?
SEBI, ICRA Limited,
ICRA is there. Yes. So,
A rating.
a care rating is there. ICRA is there. There are different rating agencies. So they rate companies on the basis of different instrument. Okay. So whether you are getting an initial rating, you are getting a downgraded rating, that is, downgrading as per the last rating which has been released, upgrading your rating, the safety is A plus plus or B plus or C, what is the category of rating it is there. So it is also very important when you are looking into the operational indicator along with the rating and related information even. So we'll explore only few reports which are relevant for operational and the production related information, but I'm giving you the coverage area first of all, the understanding to that. Annual financial is the very important section, annual financial statement. So, and we have this interim financial statement. So, what is the difference in the annual and interim? Do anyone knows that? What is the interim financial? What does it mean? So, okay, so let me give you clarity. So there are many companies. Actually, every the company disclose their annual performance, which is reported every year, and we know that the company have a March ending financial year. There are many companies which follow December ending. There could be a different accounting period which the company follow. Now, most of the companies follow March ending financial year. So annual financial statement is the annual performance how these companies are performing. Now, which companies are having the interim quarterly performance? That is the quarterly performance. So only listed company report their quarterly performance. Hence, we have the quarterly financials for only listed companies. Now, what kind of information you get in annual? So you have income, the cash flow, how the companies are assets are there, liabilities. Those who are from the finance background, they may find it certainly something relating. But there are many other students who may find, whether you are from the HR, marketing, operational, or data analytics background, or you have any certain background from the financial market or portfolio analysis. If you have interest, anyone can access and may find Prowess very interesting for you. So we have this expenses income reports, we have this long-term borrowing, short-term borrowing, asset balance sheet, and even contingent liabilities, and so far and so. This is the very important section for you to check that the performance of the company by financial ratios. Okay, so you have heard about profitability ratios, but morely you will be needing a liquidity report, working cycle turnover report. Okay, the distribution which is relating to networking capital, cost of sales method, distribution of expense, operating expense as a percentage of income, and even the source of growth of income, how the what is the source of income growth and source of the growth in profit. So let's first explore the report which is called the liquidity and working cycle. Okay, so this is the financial ratio report, and let me select any other manufacturing because it's a service company, so we may not get particularly the indicators which are relating to the liquidity. So if I pick a Maruti Suzuki and I get the information relating to the liquidity, and which shows you that what is the quick ratio, current ratios is available over here. Okay, the company which can the see there is a cash to current liabilities in indicators are there. If you see debt equity ratio, there is a debt to equity ratio, which companies having debt high or low in that case. Long term borrowings are there, interest coverage ratios are there. Those what is the detail relating to the working cycle period, which says that in how many days the raw material get converted and processed to the further stage, and how much time the work in progress cycle takes after the the raw material is being received and being progressed, how much time the finished goods after the production is being done, how much time the finished goods cycle take place to get that product out for sale, and how much time the debtor takes again to pay back the this is again how much time if the company have made a credit sale, how much time it takes for them to pay get the money from their defaulters, or get the money from those where they have sold the goods in credit. So debtor cycle is very important to check the efficiency of credit sales, and how quick they are with getting those money from their creditors. Okay, and this is the creditor cycles, how much time it takes the company to pay back to their vendors. So if I'm purchasing a raw material from ABC Limited, so it shows you that how much time, how much days it takes to pay back their money. So I'm taking 58 days to pay back their money. I'm taking 60 days to pay back their money. It's fine. Okay. But I should get more quickly the money from those where I have sold my goods on credit. Okay. So credit means not selling my product on cash, but selling the product on a credit shows you that I'll get the money after a month or 15 days or 5 days or 10 days, or it could be any duration which has been promised by by my client. So this is the debtor cycle. If it is higher, that shows you that how much good it is for the company. Okay, the creditor cycle should be in that case is higher. That shows you that how much more time I'm getting to pay back the money to my from whom I'm purchasing. So this is the trend. The line chart shows you the trend how the debtor cycle has been there. Okay, and if I see, and you can always Google it, what is debtor turnover ratio. So this tells you, basically, you can also Google it. It measures that how efficiently a company collects the revenue on credit. Okay, and that formula is being derived from net credit sales upon average account receivable, which is bill receivable. Okay, the creditors in the similar fashion, how much time it takes to pay back to the person who from whom we have purchased something. So this could be a very relevant indicator, debtor turnover ratios and creditor turnover ratios. Further, the raw material, I have told you, the raw material time conversion time is also very important. It shows you that how much efficient the company is to convert the thing which they have purchased to produce a finished product. Like raw material I have purchased, how much time I'm taking to make it a finished product, and how much time it's taking the work in the progress, and the product before going into the market for the sales. So, and this report, liquidity report, and if I compare it with the peers, so peer comparison, so it was a standalone V. I was observing Maruti Suzuki report, and for how many years? I was observing the data for 10 years. So this was the data from 2016 till 2025. This was the 10 years data. I want the data for 15 years. I can change the observation range to 15, and I can reload the report. Now the data is from 2011 onwards, and I'm getting the same data from 2011. If you are doing a study of 5 years, 10 years, accordingly, you can switch to observation range, change it to 5 or 10 years, okay? And then reload, click on reload icon so that your changes can be applied to that tabulation which is there on the output sheet. Okay, this is a standalone value report, how the company is performing in terms of crores or times or number of days. Okay, so it gives you the actual value. The consolidated numbers are if the company is a part of a group and is a subsidiary of any some holding company. So you may also get the consolidated numbers in that case too. Now, I want to do a comparison with Maruti Suzuki with its competitors. So there is a peer comparison. So if I see the operational indicator comparison with its peers, I'll have a better clarity on that. So let's say I say what is so these are the operational indicators. So I say how the quick ratio, which shows that how much time it takes, a company to convert their current asset, and quick ratio is to be, the ideal is 1.5 and around that. Current ratio is there, debt to equity ratio is there, borrowing pattern is there, DSCR important is there, raw material conversion is there. And where are the companies? So it says Maruti Suzuki is raw material conversion, it takes 13 days, whereas MG Motor takes 73 days, whereas Honda cars take 17 days, BMW take 51 days. So those companies which we have heard a lot, are the top MNC companies in automobile, Mercedes, and the BMW and the expensive luxury cars which the companies are having. They are actually taking more time in the raw material conversion time, and the cars takes too much time in getting a process from the raw material to the finished in that category. Whereas in case of those companies which are there like Maruti, it's only 13 days it's taking to convert from raw material to the very next step. So Skoda and Supertech, Tata Motors takes just the 18 days in that case. Toyota is again in that category. If I want to compare it with, let's say, with the industry, so we have industry numbers as well. So if I click on industry benchmark, I'll have more indicators to compare, and I can say if the industry is growing by this particular percentage, how this company has been growing by, the 5 or 10% as compared to the industry benchmark. So I'm admitting couple of users, and I'm also taking a pause just in case to have an interaction with the users who have joined today. So before we go ahead with the couple of other operational informations, just in case, so is there any query from any of the student or faculty members who have joined? Okay. Now, this thing can be compared either company to company, okay, peer comparison, and you can also compare a company's performance with the industry benchmark. So, if we say that the benchmark is the company, the company's inventories and inventory turnover ratio should be certainly in the which particular parameter, or the raw material cycle should be between this to this. So the benchmark say it should be 23 days as far as the passenger vehicle industry is saying, whereas it's better that the Maruti Suzuki's raw material conversion cycle is even lesser, so it can convert more quickly than the what the benchmark has been saying. Okay, this has slightly, the benchmark has fallen to 21 in 2024, and again, the Maruti Suzuki is much better than the last year raw material conversion cycle. Then further, it is much better again in 2025 with the 13.9%, whereas the benchmark says that 20 point is, the averagely by most of the companies in that category which are into passenger vehicle industry. So if I choose any other indicator, let's say ITC, okay, and what could be the other operational indicator? I would say the kind of employee related disclosure the companies are making. So there are certain distribution, and in the miscellaneous report, we have compensation to employees. Okay. So if I click on compensation to employees, how much the company is paying to its employees, okay, you get more detail about it. So if I do it for 10 year, and reload it, I'll get more clarity. So it could be possible case that one company is having total income every year, it's increasing by 5%. Okay. Profit is also increasing by 5-10%. But whether the compensation to employee is increasing by that pace or not, we can check it by looking at these numbers. So compensation to employees, if you right click on number, the line chart shows you this is the trend, where in 2024 there was a decline in compensation to employee, there was a decline in compensation to employee in 2025. It was at its peak in 2023, and we can similarly compare it with other information, whether there was a decline in the salaries and wages, whether there was a decline in the e-shop and staff welfare or gratuity or superannuation, or there was certainly a decline in the number of employees which they have reported, or the director remuneration. So director salaries, sitting fees, director bonus, perquisites, and number of employees, which were 25,000, 25,000, 26, 28, 29. Even it has increased to 49,000, 88,000, 98,000, and it certainly declined to 47,000 in 2025. So this is the sharp decline in 2025 which they have reported. So line chart, and if I move and remove it, this is the line chart how number of employees which the company have reported in the annual report have declined to 47,000 from all-time high which has went to 98,000 and so. If I scroll, the operational indicator would be also relevant, and when you are doing certain projects. So it says compensation per thousand employee, how much the company is been bearing and paying to employees per thousand employee. Okay, in crores, how much the income per thousand employee the company is having, and how much this is the income per thousand employee, comparing it with the income the company which is having, and this is the how much they are paying to those the employees. What is the profit which the company is earning per thousand employees? So profit after tax, profit before tax per thousand employee. So this is how the this report could be very relevant in terms of one of the area which is compensation to employees, and operationally the company is beneficent in terms of paying to its employees or not. There could be other areas like I want to check ITC and its revenue and its capacity. Okay, so whether they have disclosed those information or not. So one is I can check the recent rating from rating agencies. This would give a clarity how the company has been rated recently by different credit ratings. So we have rating charges, and it says CRISIL ICRA have recently given a higher safety rating, and which was the latest rating was 27th of November, CRISIL and ICRA. Okay, and then April is 2025, and April 9 there is a CRISIL again. The long-term loan, commercial paper, and short-term loan are the instrument, and on these instrument the higher safety and A plus plus, A1 plus, and a triple A rating is being given. So company is doing great in terms of the debt instrument. The other way around, I could also have a clarity on if I see there forex transactions. Okay, so if I click on forex transactions, I'll have a clarity on how the company's forex earning is been there. So I draw a line chart. So this is forex earning of the company, and how much the company has been spending forex spending. So this is forex spending, how much a company is spending out of India. Okay, and how much the company is earning from out of India is the blue line graph in that case. This could be a proper evaluation in terms of that. If I would have selected any company which is there into a different industry, like say drug and pharma, and again, um, ready, I say Dr. Reddy, so Dr. Reddy, and if I search Dr. Reddy, is it Dr. Reddy Holding? And I say, mm, I say which company? I say Jubilant or Sun Pharma. Sun Pharma. Sun Pharma Distribution Limited. And in which industry it is, we can also have a clarity. Sun Pharmaceuticals. So so whichever company you are selecting, you should be very sure that whether this company is there in Prowess database. So if I type, so it says Sun Pharmaceuticals. Okay, so I'm typing it in the similar fashion. Sun Pharma. So Sun Pharmaceuticals Industries and Laboratories Distribution. We have couple of companies, Pharma Laboratories. So I'm saying Sun Pharma Laboratories. I have added this company, and I want to check it the company background. So it's into which industry? It says drug and pharma industry. And we have also a classification over here, company classification, which says that it's into a drug and pharma. So let's have a clarity more. I have selected drug and pharma company. Now I want to check, again, and their export earnings and that. So this will have more clarity relating to it. So whether they are having any export earning or export spending. So we have raw material consumption, we have these ingredients, and what are the main products. So I say Sun Pharma just explore all the products. We have business segment in product, and under business segment is the product details. So this report is very important, product details. It gives you a clarity on what kind of product the company is dealing in. So it says drug formulation medicine, say how much revenue the company has been earning. So it gives you clarity that there is 85%, 83% the company is earning revenue from drug formulation, okay, and which is of how much crores? It's of 11,786 crores. There are other services which says that lease and rental hires revenue. It says interest revenue. It gives you more clarity about the product category which they are having, from where they are getting revenue. If I move to any other company, it could have any other product like Hindustan Unilever. It's a FMCG company. Product detail will be relating to the FMCG product, like food products, frozen products, frozen desserts. The 3% is canned and processed fruit and vegetable related products. The personal category product shows you that the 44% revenue is coming from personal care products. The soap category is also been mentioned. From soap business, they are having 31% of revenue in 2023, 2024, 2026. And again, all the category of products. Now, this could be one of the way how you can check, what kind of product and from where they are getting all those revenue, and then you can further compare these companies on the basis of what are the kind of plant locations, and the Hindustan Unilever is having. So it says the Hindustan Unilever is having in Baddi, in Kolkata, in Chennai, the state and district has been mentioned, what kind of product they are producing in those particular locations. Okay, so product level information has been there available. The capacity related information or raw material consumption. So we have these details. So raw material consumed. So it tells you that the raw material categories like chemical, perfumes, oil, and other raw materials. So what is the revenue? Is being spent on purchase of raw material. If I click on Ambuja Cement, the Ambuja Cement report will open and it will give you the clarity that these are the raw material which they have, consumed for producing a finished goods. So, majority of the reports are, which you will find it interesting for your area, is financial ratios, forex transactions, and the details relating to the product related, which is product manufacturer under that product details, Trend in capacity and products. I'm not sure whether the capacity related information is being disclosed by the companies regularly or not. But if you click on capacity, it gives you a clarity whether the company has been disclosing that or not. So it says, the capacity is 31,004, something and details has been disclosed. If we check it for Hindustan Unilever, it is not been disclosed. ITC, it is not been disclosed. Sun Pharma, it could be a possible case where it has not been disclosed. So there are few companies which are disclosing the capacity, but product details will be available for all of them. Okay. So I'm taking a pause, and this is how you can explore the report viewer. And these reports are easily downloadable. Whichever report you are opening, just have a look. There is an icon. Either you drag and select copy and paste, or you download it by export as Excel CSV. So export as Excel CSV, all the product details has been downloaded in Excel format. If you want to download the income related information, the income related and executive summary is here. And executive summary gives you the 10 year, 15 years. The observation is for 10. So 10 years data on income, 10 years data on expenses, 10 years data on profits, 10 years data on liabilities, and even the profitability ratios, returns on total asset, return on net worth, capital employed, liquidity ratios, efficiency ratios. So this is the executive summary, which comprises of key indicator, and it gives it at one place for 10 years, 15 years, whichever you change, and then you can download it by export as Excel CSV. It is on your fingertip. Clear? So this is how you can start exploring first of all the report viewer, and then we can further run certain queries to identify that which companies, if you want to run a query, let's say to identify that which companies are defaulter, and how we can say defaulter companies, those or red flag companies. Let's say I want to find out red flag companies. So how I can call a company a red flag? If the company is having too much inventory and they are not having a good demand from the market for their products. Okay, so if I'm producing 20 products in a day and I'm just selling one product, so I'll have a lot of inventory in my shop. Okay, so whether the company is efficient to sell out its inventories, if it is not, it's a red flag company, and such kind of queries can be run easily in the Prowess database. But report viewer is the easiest part to explore such kind of reports. So just a pause, and is there anyone who would like to ask any kind of things? And if you want me, I can show certain information which you need, obviously, for your project work. Okay. Now, one very important thing is every company which is covered in Prowess. So we have 1,13,000 companies. What CMI do is CMI scientifically map a company into a particular industry. Okay. So none of the company exactly says that they belong to this industry because they have a diversified business. Okay. Company may get a revenue from one category of business product, second category of business product, and which industry that company should belong. So what we do is that we scientifically map a company based upon the product revenue which they are getting, which I showed you from the product detail. Okay, so based upon the product details, if the company is getting more than 50% revenue from a particular category of business product or similar business product, we name it as a main product. Okay, on the basis of that main product, we scientifically map a company into a particular industry. So how it has been done, like Sun Pharma, if I show you a company classification with some basic information, so it says that main product is drug and pharmaceutical product. Okay, and that is where the company has been aligned into a drug and pharma industry. If I click on ITC, it shows me that the main product is cigarette, and the company is being aligned into an industry which is tobacco product industry. If I click into again Hindustan Unilever, it says the personal care and home product is the main product. A personal home care product is the industry also which has been aligned. Such classification is being done by CMI, mapping is being done by CMI. so that when you are comparing a company on any of these reports, you will have a more meaningful result, comparable companies in your list if the company has been scientifically mapped into a correct industry. Now, third is that when you see these information, you would like to read about a paragraph and see that how this company has been performing. So we have this company background report. So if you click on company background, it gives you a brief write-up on a company telling you that how this company has been performing. So where it has been listed. So it says the listed in BSE and NSE exchanges. If it is so, it says it is listed. If it tells you the rank of the company, it's ranked seventh in the drug and pharma industry in terms of sales revenue. It's a large size company. It's a profitable company from past 10 years, and its operating margin is 50%. Okay, and net profit margin is 43%. It's a low leverage company. Debt equity ratio is zero. Okay, for this company, the debt equity ratio is zero, but the operating margin is 50% and 43. This is also very important part of the operational, again, performance of the company. And operating performance, these ratios are already covered under the profit, the profitability ratios and growth in operational expenses. So operational expenses, if I open this report, and source of growth of income and source of growth of profit, these are the categories. So source of growth of income is, so it says operational expenses sales का कितना percent है, 52, 53, 49, and it is better that the operating expenses as a percent of sales has declined over a period of time. It shows that they have minimized their cost as compared to the sales, or the sales has increased as compared to the operating expenses. Where you can check the royalties, technical know-how, or relating to the taxes have been declined, or compensation to employee which has been declined, or what else? Marketing or selling and distribution has declined, or the marketing and selling and distribution has increased over a period of time. So before that, 2018, Sun and Pharma were having, the 8%, 7%, and it has significantly increased the advertisement expenses as compared to the sales, R&D, how much they have been doing, and the operational expenses. If you want to check the profitability report is also available relating to the ratios which I was saying. So this is operation margin and return on investment, return on capital employed, and the next fixed asset and related to that information. One page profile is also very simpler and very important to you. This is a report which gives you an understanding about uh, you know with the latest financial, how this company has been performing. Okay, so this is the unlisted companies, so we are not getting the quarterly performance, we are just getting the annual. Okay, and then it tells you that what is the operating the uh, profit after tax, profit before tax, PBDITA, and the operational profit is also there, operational profit margin is also there, net profit margin is also there. If I click on Hindustan Unilever, which is listed, so it will give you the quarterly performance as well. And in quarterly performance with the stock market charts are available over here. So this is stock market performance of the companies with the charts, and the quarterly performance which shows you that the growth in income, the growth in expenses on last 6 quarters, and how the borrowing pattern and profitability has been there, and relating to the operational profit margin and net profit margin. These are the details which has been there with the growth in profit and information, how the company has been doing in terms of shareholding pattern and in the stock market in terms of key indicators. So you can start exploring such kind of reports from the report view section. There's a lot of insightful reports which you may find, after exploring this detail. And for the bank, the operational indicators are, certainly the sector-wise NPA, the non-performing assets of the bank and how much advances they have given, how the CARG is there, how the bank credit is been there, credit and risk disclosure, industry-wise bank exposure. These kind of details are just relating to the banks and NBFC. You have separate report categories in that. So that is all from the Prowess database. I'm not going too heavy into the query building process, but a user who want to begin with the Prowess database, a report viewer is good enough for exploring all those reports and comparative reports. So every report, if you open, you have peer comparison and the time series data which you may find. So anything else or any participant would like to ask anything? Okay. So, if we'll keep on organizing such kind of session and do register from the Prowess or Economic Outlook website, okay? And either from the CMI official website, we have a register option over here in the CMI official website, and get your ID and access with your ID, Prowess database and Economic Outlook. But before logging in into any of these platform, please check that your system should be connected with the Wi-Fi of your institutional. Okay, and then try logging in into for accessing these services. And if you need any further support, I'll be sharing my contact detail in the chat box. And but if you want to interact with the analyst team, seek clarification where you can post your query. So I'm sharing my details in the chat box with Darshan Negi. Okay, and
सर क्वालिटी चेक के लिए बता दीजिए.
so quality check in terms of ma'am.
टोटल क्वालिटी मैनेजमेंट सब्जेक्ट के लिए वी हैव टू चेक द क्वालिटी.
And quality of what particularly?
Quality of the product.
Ma'am, quality of the product is not exactly disclosed by the companies in the annual report, because every company may say that they are 100% fit in terms of what they have been producing. The wastage is very less and minimum in that case. Uh, but in terms of other information, like there could be the quality information could be in terms of, if I want to check there is a how much wastage of the company is been making. So there could be certain expenses where expense and the conversion cycle period, or these could be very important, like operating expense. So if I see operating expense, I can get further more details whether these operating expense are relating to which particular category, whether the depreciation is happening more in terms, or the compensation is happening, the company is being paying more, or the royalties or technical know-how is happening more, which could be a R&D and other information, or relating to the other, where I would say that advertisement and these information could be contributing more in terms of expenses, and they are also fruitful for the company in terms of getting revenue if the company is making advertisement so far. But exactly in terms of, I would say, the the quality cannot be tracked, the kind of information which the company has been releasing in terms of it. We should pick couple of reports to say that this company is doing bad or good. By looking at the product revenue which they have generated, I can see that there could be a decline in the revenue of the company of the product category which they have disclosed. Okay, the product details could be available here in the product section, where I can see the sales revenue has declined over a period of time or not in these categories, product details. Then I can see further that the revenue, again, the operational expenses, whether there has been any change earlier the company, like I'll give you a clarity on this. If I select Maruti Suzuki, one of the operational indicator which is very important is distribution of expense, and this distribution of expense shows you that the company, if they are having 100% expense, out of 100% expense, 90% the company used to spend in operational expense in 2016. Okay, 2016 में 90% क्या होता था? ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस होता था टोटल एक्सपेंस का. दैट इज स्टिल मोर और लेस सेम. 2-3% का अप एंड डाउन है लास्ट 10 साल में. स्टिल ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंसेस 93% आउट ऑफ 100%. But when we go more granular, more in detail and granular, the operating expense का further category है, and which shows that out of 100% operating expense, पहले company which is Maruti Suzuki used to spend 60% in their raw material expense. Okay, out of operating expense. Now that has gone over a drastic change as the company raw material expenses have keep on declining as a percentage of operating expense. 64% से decline होके 35% पे आ गया है ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस का. दैट शोज यू दैट कंपनी तो हर साल हजारों करोड़ कमा रही है. हजारों करोड़ 10% 20% से इंक्रीज हो रहा है रेवेन्यू. ठीक है, if we see the sales revenue of the company, but we are seeing as of expenses, whereas expenses should also increase, especially the raw material which is the main cost. but यहाँ पर तो operating expense का अगर हम चेक करें तो raw material expense has declined 50% from 65% to 37%. And whereas if we scroll, the company is might be focusing in other areas of expenses, which could be, you see this selling and distribution used to be 3%, that has increased to 8 and 9%. The advertisement expenses has increased from 1%, and it is more or less 1% around that. The marketing expense has increased from 1% to 4 and 3 and 5% till now in the recent years. There is a shift in the strategy of the company, the shift in the expense categories of the company over a period of time. And that is one of the reason, when we call the Maruti Suzuki build quality and the safety factor, why that is still the same, not as good as the competing companies, or those companies where, the BMW, Fiat, or Hyundai and other companies which are there. And this comparison can be drawn in a much better way. Same report, अगर मैं stand alone की बजाय इसे open करूं, which is with the peer comparison. So if I open this report with the peer comparison, you can have more clear understanding saying that competing companies का रॉ मटेरियल का जो है, रॉ मटेरियल स्टोर्स एंड स्पेयर्स परसेंटेज ऑफ ऑपरेशन मारुति सुजुकी का 37% है, whereas see other company like Hyundai, MG Motors 78%, 83% रॉ मटेरियल है ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस का. Mercedes Benz is 67%, Mercedes EV Tech is 75%. Every company is having more than 50 and 50, 60, 70, 80 around that. Only one company is there, which is Maruti Suzuki, who is having just raw material 37% of operating expense. Is it clear, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
So there could be many factors. This is one of the very important factor. We need to relate data with certain, the trend which is going on. And if we pick one company, we can bring in more meaningful results from these kind of report. Like Maruti Suzuki, I have picked. If you have heard certain other news, you can look into certain information which has been disclosed. But the data which is completely, covered from the disclosure which the company have made. If the company have not made the disclosure, you may not get that information in that case. And such comparison can be drawn, by opening those reports. So, any other query, if anyone is having, you can ask. So, I'm not getting your voice, sir. Can you speak a little bit louder? Sir, can you speak a little bit louder what you're saying? हेलो, क्या आप जोर से बोल सकते हैं? आपने क्या पूछा है? So there is, okay, by the time, if you would like, I'm not able to hear your voice clearly. So if you can type and post it in the chat box, I'll be happy to address that, and or you can just check your mic and speak a little bit louder in that case. By the time Subhajit Das have posted a query, can we show how to find out adjusted closing balance after dividend payment of the company? Okay, balance after dividend payment of the company. Okay, so uh, see, for that, if I open a report wheel, so there are many other ways how you can do that. Okay, one way could be, again, the the balance before. Let me get into that. So adjusted closing balance after dividend payments and of the company oblique stock. Okay, Subhajit, if you are able to hear me, so you want to check basically the company if they have earned a X revenue, which is the total income. Okay, and if they make the dividend payment, how much is being left still with them? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, see, there are by default certain category of indicators. So, if you observe, we call it earning before interest and tax. Okay, earning after earning before interest and tax. Even in the executive summary, when you're opening such report, so we have this PBDITA, profit before depreciation, interest and taxes. Whether you want a profit after taxes or before, dividend and taxes, you can use this one. After paying it, either you can consider, the detail, which could be either you take dividend, and dividend, if we are taking it from the query builder option, we can add the dividend in that case. So I can say profit before, again, depreciation, interest, tax, and profit before interest, tax, okay, and extraordinary services, profit after tax or profit before tax. If you want to, let's say, have it for only those indicators which are of your choice, I can pick companies from the list. So I'm going to query builder. Let's say you want it for certain listed companies. I select BSC Sensex, okay, and or BSC Sensex, these 30 companies. You can pick any industry. I'm picking listed companies, BSC Sensex. I say out of all the companies, I find out first of all BSC Sensex and send it to the new OSC. So BSC Sensex companies will send to the first new sheet. Then I'll say I want to put certain other information, which is standardized annual financial statement, and I say I want certain advanced information, which could be maximizing or minimizing certain information. So I say I want total income of the company. Okay, total income of the company. I also want to check total income may say, okay. So total income I'm selecting again. I want to subtract if there has been any dividend. So I can relate it well with the dividend information. So I'm saying, is there any indicator with the name dividend? I say refresh. Third. So it's a dividend income. Okay, this is dividend income. If you want to select dividend expenses, or you want to consider dividend income. So if, let's say, dividend expenses, so you can put it, in such a way that you can minimize and search any indicator with the dividend. So dividend paid or proposed annual. So I say dividend paid or proposed. and I'm saying remove total dividend. Okay, this could be one indicator which I can consider. And then I say these two indicators just by selecting these two indicators. One is total income, one is total income minus total dividend. I'm saying after dividend, removing the dividend. I want this information for how many years? I say 2024. I want this data, or whichever year. I say 2023 2025-03. Okay, so 2023-2023-03. These three years data I want, and then I say simply add data to OAC. So how many years data you want? 3 years. Which companies do you want? Companies in current OSC, because I have already loaded my list of companies into the output sheet, which is 30 companies. Okay, first I have loaded my companies. The second query I have run is by selecting these information, these indicators, and changing my domain to companies in the current OSC. And the second query is in process. I'll get only those companies where dividend paid and proposed is being based upon the annual report is being mentioned over here. And this information is being disclosed in balance sheet, reserves and funds, surplus and deficit at the end of the year, and you're getting dividend paid in details. And dividend taxes is also been mentioned over here. So I'm just including, excluding the information. So this is the difference when total income is there and when you are excluding any, the total dividend related information. Is it clear from the query building option? So report viewer have a limitation of where you can just customize the reports, and you can download the report. You can customize it by changing the number of years, currencies, or you can see individual performance, group performance, peer benchmarking, or industry. This is the only comparison which you can draw from the report viewer. Although there are 600 plus reports which you can explore, and you may not need all those reports. That is where the query building option which I have just explained, that select your list of companies, load it to your output sheet, and then get the data which you need. Let's say total income minus whichever indicator, or we want to plus whichever indicator. If you don't want to do this plus minus, simply select standardized annual financial. Say I want total income, I want profit after tax, I want debt to equity ratio, debt to equity. If you search equity, okay, and I say debt to equity search, and say I want 3 year data, 5 year data. I say 2023-03 to 2025-03. This data I want in a new sheet. I can say companies which are there in output sheet, 30 companies, okay, BSE Sensex, which are already there in the output worksheet over here. On these 30 companies, I want in the new sheet, only these three indicators. So I say send to new OSC. I'm not adding it to the existing sheet. I'm creating a new sheet by send to new OSC. A fresh sheet will be created where these three indicators data for the 3 year for 30 BSE Sensex companies will be there. Such a category of expenses, income, everything has been there. Balance sheet, profit and loss, functional information. Functional information, you are getting average growth, income, forex information, CSR disclosures, and all these categories are there with the banking disclosures are also there. This time a new sheet where just 30 companies and profit after tax, profit, again debt equity ratios and total income and so. So just I hope that is clear, Subhajit.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Bhavnesh have asked, can we do Camlis rating analysis ratios or bank by using CMI Prowess? See, if you know how the the Camlis rating analysis can be done, you can definitely play with those numbers. But by default, Camlis rating analysis is not ready-madely available. So I can create a Z score, and I do have a formula for Z score. I can create a Tobin skew, and I can do that kind of BODMAS formula. I can create it over here in the advanced section. I can put if and but condition, and I can find out only those companies which are actually satisfying those conditions. But for applying like Camley's rating analysis, you need to first have those kind of clarity on what Camlet's ratio analysis is there, and then you use that indicator. So it is simply mentioning that what is it? It says 1 to 5 supervisory framework. One is a strong, five is the weak. Evaluating bank on capital adequacy ratio, asset quality management, earning liquidity, sensitivity to market risk. All these things can be individually extracted from here. So if I want capital adequacy ratio, I'll select capital adequacy ratio in Prowess, and I'll say capital adequacy. So it says capital adequacy disclosure, whether you are looking for Basel 1, Basel 2, Basel 3. I say Basel 3. Which one? I say, again, these are the indicators which say total, capital adequacy ratio, total capital adequacy ratio of Basel 2 and Basel 3. I say this one. Select it and move it over here. This is Basel 3 capital adequacy ratio. I say second one, I need any other information. I'll get these couple of indicators, okay, which is non-performing asset. So I say non-performing asset, which is NPA. I go to Prowess, I search NPA this time, and NPA, and I search it. So there is a gross non-performing asset and advances under business ratio. We do have a separate disclosure for movement of gross NPA, movement of net NPA. You want opening NPA, you want closing NPA. You can select that. This is your second indicator. As many as indicator you select, so you need to first have your list of banks in that case. Okay, so first upload your list from here. Select companies in the predefined. I'm removing BSE Sensex. I say only banking companies. Selected banking services. Out of all companies, it will search banking. I say send to new AC. Only banking companies will be sent to output sheet. Once my list is ready, I'll then further go to standardize annual financials. And I have already added two indicators, total capital adequacy, closing balance of NPA. What else is there? Liquidity, I can put debt to equity ratios. I can put earning related, so price to earning, price to book, whatever you would like to consider in that case, you can, asset quality, asset management is there. So I can select one is so liquidity, I say liquidity, okay, liquidity ratio. So I can find out. I'm just minimizing my this. So I say liquidity ratios, efficiency ratios. So whichever ratio I would like to search, I can put my cursor and I can say liquidity ratios. Whether it's a quick ratio, current ratio, I would like to add, I can add it over here. For banking ratio, we have a separate disclosure which says, interest income percentage of working fund, operating profit as a percentage of working fund. For banking, gross NPA non-performing, return on asset is the indicator which has been mentioned over here. You can select these indicators and say further whichever year, how many years you want the data, companies in current OSC, and say,
Hello.
let's say,
Hello, sir.
yes.
Sorry to interrupt in between as we are falling short of time. So I request you to, wind up the session. If
Okay, so we'll just finish it in next 1 or 2 minutes. So
Yes,
this is how you can search those indicators and you can add it, or you can ready-madely customize it over here, or through Excel you can later on use the formula, and you can create for the Camel's rating, again using it. Okay, like this is the formula we have created for. I'll show you. This is the formula we have created for uh, finding out Z score. Okay, so finding out Z score, we have used net working capital upon total asset, which is 1.2 time. Okay, then 1.4 time of retained profit upon total asset, 3.3 time of PBIT upon total asset. And then we have given them that if you are having this particular, give them one rating. This is one plus one. So if they are having one rating, two rating, three rating, like it's in case of camel, whether they are strong, weak, or so, we can have that data in the pool. But if you want me or the backend team to frame everything for you and give you just those codes like which you can paste it over here and get your data, you can, for that you need to put your query in the C clarification, and C clarification team, you can simply ask how to operate a product to extract the camels rating data, and if you can give me that formula, I can use in the advanced query to get the data easily. So you need to write a message and click on post query for posting that. That is all for the day. And it's a last call, just in case if anyone, I hope, Bhuvnesh, it is clear for you.
Sir, yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. So anything else, anyone?
Thank you, sir. What an insightful and engaging session it has been. We have truly gained valuable knowledge about how to utilize data and analytical tools for meaningful business and economic research. Thank you for your invaluable time and for sharing such a comprehensive understanding in CMIE and Prowess data insights. Your guidance has been immensely enriching for all participants. We also extend our heartfelt gratitude to Amity Business School, the Center of Financial Analytics, Amity University, Haryana, for organizing this wonderful and informative workshop. With this, we officially conclude our workshop on CMIE and Prowess Data Insights. Thank you all once again for your active participation. Have a wonderful and productive day ahead.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much. Dr. Fiza this side. Actually, Monica ma'am, our HOD ma'am, she is busy in some meeting. So
Okay,
she will connect with you on call later on.
no problem, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining, and have a great time. Do post your queries online, and feel free to reach out to me for any.
Yes, sure, sir. Sure. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
okay, bye.
you.
Thank you.
Okay.